Today we're going over the Genealogy of the Holy War New Heroes banner, the first one of 2025. Attuned Brigid will lead the way for 3 new FEH debuts. We got Du, Midir, and Edain. We'll be talking about everyone's stats and skills, plus go over some general playstyle and build ideas. The 4-star focus unit for this banner is Du. You can get him at 4 to 5-star rating, and he's going to demote you through a 4-star pool after the banner is over. Du is going to be our first non-dancer for the play Red Infantry Dagger. He's got more attack and speed than Laura, so if you want a new Red Dagger Du, will be a fun merge project. For stats, he has 41 HP, 42 attack, 48 speed, 37 defense, and 24 res. Du has triple super boons in attack, speed, and defense. His attack is slightly on the lower side, but Du's extremely fast. I think Legendary Yuri is still top dog for the thieves, but Du is right behind him and should be the fastest free-to-play dagger currently. He beats out the 2 most recent additions, Ninja Noir and Midir. All 3 have pretty similar defensive spreads, though Du is the only red option. It may take some time to merge him up, but Du is going to be a fine offensive dagger for the non-5 stars. When it comes to Ode's skills, Du has Soul and attack and speed gap 3. Gap buffs are simple, but fine to support one main unit. This is the first time attack and speed gap is free-to-play accessible. Du also has speed and defense finish 3. Casper already brought this to the free-to-play pool, but Du has it at 4-star rarity. Either way, tier 3 finish skills are great for budget builds. For his inheritable dagger, Du has the Helping Dagger Plus, 12 might weapon. If above 25% HP, grant plus 5 attack and speed, and bonus attack and speed equal to X times 5. X is the number of allies with more than 55 attack within 3 rows or 3 columns, plus the number of allies with more than 40 speed in the same area. If you can get 3 of those conditions met, Helping Dagger can grant a max of plus 20 attack and speed. For its last effect, it has Bread type cooldown for every action. Helping Dagger is the same as last year's Summer Clan's Small Spade Plus. The attack and speed conditions can both apply to 1 unit, meaning if you got a high attack and speed ally, they will count for 2 instances. Unless you're using Merliness or Elfin, most units can hit both of these marks fairly easily. The range condition is also quite generous. It's not fancy, but 20 attack and speed from an inheritable is quite fun. Extra cooldown doesn't hurt either. For builds, Du is pretty typical offensive dagger. If you're familiar with Midir or Ninja Noir, Du can run the exact same things, although we got some new fun skills if you want to go super premium. For the Helping Dagger, Du would like no follow-up to double, and he'll be able to proc 2 cooldown specials if not interrupted. If he does get hit back, he can charge 4 cooldown specials like Lethality, although you may want some defensive perks to take a hit. Pulse Smog can uncharge specials via Scowl, or you can run Remote Sparrow or Fleeting Echo for % damage reduction. More defense perks won't hurt either, although obviously we're giving up the magical damage matchups. There are quite a lot of ways to get no follow-up, such as from Infantry No Follow or the Sacred Seal. On this banner though, we got a new Perfect Attack and Speed, a skill that has no follow-up. If you run one of these skills, Du could run something like the new Speed Taker. Plus 20 speed means extra true damage from that skill, plus Du neutralizes speed debuffs and gets no guard, which is great with Helping Dagger. Du could also use full disarm, which has speed and defense debuffs, no guard, and disarm trap. The new Winter Sheds has full disarm and pulse smog. Outside of lethality, Du has a few 50% DR piercing options. The tier 5 no follow-up or tempo skills are good, but Tempo Echo is on this banner. It's essentially Tempo 4, so another way to get cooldown manipulation. Combo that with Bread type cooldown and perhaps Pulse Smoke Scowl and Guard. As usual, Du is free to run things like Flash Sparrow, Pledge, Times Pulse, or Pulse Up skills for other cooldown methods. When it comes to inheritables, Du has a couple fun ones from the past year. Daggers finally got a brave weapon in the recent Giant Shuriken from Ninja Noir. Midir had the Gainful Dagger, which has no follow-up. Technically, it's possible to get more attack and speed than the Helpful Dagger if you have a ton of status stacking. For a seasonal weapon, the Ice Dagger Plus has 50% DR piercing and adaptive damage. And then for Arcanes, Du can use Tempest for no follow-up, times Pulse, and 30% damage reduction. The recent Slime Knife has instant cooldown, true damage, and 7 flat DR. Rearm Delilah also has the very fun Lookout Force. Kanto 2 skill with Distance Swap is pretty wild if you're looking for something different. Overall, Du is a fine free-to-play dagger if you want a speedy merge project. We have gotten quite a lot of recent new skills for daggers if you want to splurge on premium builds. Our next unit is Midir. Will 2025 be the year we see one red bow cavalier? Du could have been any color, so I guess not. Midir will be a blue bow cavalier with 40 HP, 46 attack, 47 speed, 30 defense, and 22 res. Very solid attack and speed stats. Midir has a res super boon, which ain't the best, but might be okay to tank a hit. For old skills, Midir has Luna and Sly Swift Sparrow. He can activate the true damage portion, and while a free follow-up can cancel one follow-up denial, having the action of follow-up effect would still be better on a fast unit like Midir. You might be able to double a fast enemy though if they don't want to bring no follow-up themselves. No enemy's going to want to get doubled by Midir's Rampart Bow. This thing is a little dangerous if you aren't careful. Every turn, if above 25% HP, Midir inflicts -7 speed and defense, exposure, and deep wounds on the closest foe, plus foes within 2 spaces. Rampart Bow has Slaying. If above 25% HP, Midir gets bonus stats equal to 5 plus the number of foes within 3 rows or 3 columns times 3. If there are 3 foes in range, he gets plus 14 to all stats. This weapon also neutralizes all stat debuffs and deals true damage equal to the number of foes within 3 spaces of the target, including the target, times 8. If there are 4 total enemies, Midir can get a max plus 32 true damage. Last up, Midir gets 7 flat damage reduction for first attacks with an S. Rampart Bow is quite simple, but you do need to respect its power. Midir has 2 conditions that rely on grouped up foes. Not my favorite because as you defeat enemies, you actually will literally lose stats and damage. However, Rampart Bow starts off incredibly strong. Handing out 32 true damage almost for free against standard group of enemies is pretty darn good. Midir gets an extra 10 via exposure, and he's a high attack and speed unit, so potentially good base damage and a double on top. For other perks, he neutralizes his own stat debuffs, and if initiating from long range, he might not be affected by things like Sabotage. While not the sturdiest calf, Midir will also get plus 14 defensive res with 7 flat DR. Deep wounds can mess with healing. If you're looking for a unit to crank a lot of support into, a 32 true damage archer is a pretty good starting point. For his inheritable C skill, Midir brings Insight, Speed, and Defense. Every turn, gain plus 6 speed and defense, and Incited if you are next to 2 or fewer allies. If you're next to 1 or fewer, you also get plus 3 speed and defense in combat. Another self-buffing Insight C skill, cows are great users since they can spread out and get the full plus 3 stats via Incited. Simple and easy to use, self-buffing skill. For playstyle, Midir is a very simple offensive unit who does provide some decent support each turn. He is strongest at the start of a battle, so try to let him initiate early. If there are 3 foes around his target, Midir gets an easy 32 true damage. Slice Whisperer adds plus 5 true damage if Midir has 2 advantageous statuses. Exposure and Deep Wounds fulfill that condition, plus Exposure's another 10 true damage. While Assassin's Strike can add 10 plus true damage itself, if you want Midir to retreat after attacking, you can go with Far Trace 4. That skill itself adds 7 true damage on its own. Assuming everything is active, Midir can get 50 plus true damage. He has a free follow-up to bypass 1 follow-up denial, and you can bring some defensive stat boosters to try and tank a counter before doubling. With Slaying, Midir can charge Curved Shot in time to get the 40% damage reduction. However, he does not have no guard to guarantee this. For the most part, we have a basic offensive long-range initiator. Midir makes things spicy with his high starting true damage, and he could be a fun Emblem Lin Ring abuser if you stack things like Dual Strike. If you don't face Hardy Bearing, you can run Desperation 4. Midir has room for Far Trace Echo. If you need more defense, Remote or Fleeting Echo can add some % damage reduction. You could also do Brash Assault 4. For C skills, if you want no follow-up, there is Odd Speed Wave. The speed buffs would synergize with Midir's speed debuffs for his team. Now, since he inflicts deep wounds and has a bunch of true damage, you could also try to let Midir soften up an enemy formation. Panic Smoke, Savage Blow, Flared Flame Tiles. You could also make him annoying by running Winter Water Sweep. In conclusion, not a very flashy unit, but when you get that much true damage for basically free, you can't just ignore Midir. Try to get him some more true damage via stuff like Treachery or Dominance. Some defensive support would also be nice too if you need to double sturdier foes. Next up, we got Brigid's sister, Edain. She's an infantry healer with some fun quirks. For stats, Edain has 44 HP, 48 attack, 31 speed, 20 defense, and 45 resistance. Attack super boon, and Edain ties for highest attack healer in the game. Her 45 base res is pretty solid, and 44 HP can be put to good use as well. For her old skills, Edain has Magic Shield Plus for a Rally plus 6 attack and res. It also gives the status 2 neutralize stat debuffs. If used on turn 2, the user gets an extra action and self-inflicts gravity. For her special, Edain has Glitter of Light to inflict flash. She then has Spin and Res Discord for debuffing grouped up foes, and Infantry Pulse 4 for team cooldown. Now, Edain's Staff of Ingvi is quite fun. If Edain uses a Rally Movement Assist, she grants Empathy, Kanto 1, and a free follow-up on initiation status to herself and the ally she targets. Edain will get 5 range warping to use her buffing assist. This is a Slaying Dazzling Staff. If within 3 spaces of an ally, Edain gets bonus attack and res equal to 6 plus 20% of her flat res. She gets true damage equal to 20% of her in combat res, and gets -1 instant cooldown before her first attack. There's a lot happening, but to kick things off, Edain wants to warp 5 spaces to an ally. She uses Magic Shield and will give herself and that ally 3 statuses. Empathy is the new one from Rune, and it gives +1 stat for every type of status on the field, good or bad. Edain hands out 3 statuses from her staff, and Magic Shield applies that debuff neutralization status. If used on turn 2, Edain gets the extra action and self-inflicts gravity. That's a 5th status all in one action. Now because she has warping, Edain can ignore the gravity part. She can now attack right a free follow-up, and thanks to Sling, Imagery Pulse, and the instant cooldown, she instantly procs Glitter of Light. Edain applies the AoE Flash status, and she can now count to 1 to retreat. Essentially, Edain will be hard to keep down if you don't have Warp Bubble, and if her ally initiates first, she can follow up due to her long-range warp. She is quite good in spread out scenarios, and she's gonna pack a punch as a makeshift colorless mage. Very fun healer. Edain won't be keeping all the fun to herself though, because she brings a new healer-only A skill. Sway Attack and Res states, if unit initiates or is within 3 spaces of an ally, grant bonus attack and res equal to 8 plus the number of allies within 3 spaces times 2. Have 2 nearby allies for a max plus 12 attack and res. Additionally, this A skill grants Wrathful Staff. Sway is easy to inherit as it's a tier 4 form skill. For high attack and res healers, this is an option to get Wrathful Staff and not use the B skill or the recent Sacred Seal. Edain uses her open slot for Discord debuffs. Since she warps to her allies, Edain should get full value from the stat boost. Even with just one ally, that's an easy plus 10 attack and res. Edain pretty much has a fully functional kit. We went over how she uses Magic Shield to proc her own statuses, and Imagery Pulse can help recharge Glitter of Light. A drawback to using Sway is that Edain isn't using something like Still or Crystalline Water for flat resistance. She also isn't using Boost for extra HP. If you want to increase your chance of proccing Discord and Imagery Pulse, you can use a Squad A Seal with bonus res. There are of course more modifications you can make depending on what you want. You can rock Poise C skills and move Wrathful Staff to the Sacred Seal slot. You can also drop Discord, though it does grant nice res debuffs and true damage, which will stack with Edain's staff. For some other skills, if you really want, Edain can use Resonance for partial DR piercing and true damage. She can also use the new Temple Echo. Since she has so much cooldown, Finish is a fine skill, though Sway's plus 12 attack kinda matches its true damage portion. For non-infantry teams, Edain could use Pulse Deploy. There's even times Pulse Echo, perhaps to counter Scal effects. If you want to style on people, you can rock Lagu's Friend. Edain precharges her special, so you could have a healer dropping full DR piercing specials with 40% res as true damage scaling. Sometimes it's about sending a message. Now if you want another healer special, Holy Pressure is really good. Gravity plus Edain's Kanto is pretty nasty. Overall, this is a fun healer, fully ready to go with team support and personal damage. Since it's still new, I do want to warn about using Ice Lock on Edain. Ice Lock is a 2-range heal. Staff Ingvi only warps next to the ally. You will not be able to use Ice Lock on the unit you warp to. You can get around this depending on your team formation, but just keep that in mind. Last unit for today is Attuned Brigid. After her pirating days, seems like she's scored some shiny new skills for herself, and her new outfit is tailored after Edain's cloak. For this alt, Brigid is a green infantry archer. She has 40 HP, 46 attack, 48 speed, 34 defense, and 25 res. She's got speed and res super boons, though Brigid's defenses aren't really gonna matter much for her. For ult skills, Brigid has Draconic Aura, and to charge it up, she has Creation Pulse. Brave Female Robin is still around on the monthly banner if you wanted to get Creation Pulse elsewhere. Now for Brigid's Divine Youthful, it's a 14-my bow, and each turn, if within 2 spaces of an ally, she grants plus 6 attack and speed, Incited, and the regular warp status to those allies plus herself. This is a slaying bow. If initiating or within 2 spaces of an ally, Brigid gets bonus attack and speed equal to 6 plus 20% of her flat speed. She gets true damage equal to the total number of advantageous statuses active on the fight times 5. If there are 5 of those, Brigid can get 25 true damage. On her follow-up attacks, Brigid will get instant -2 cooldown. Last, she has the Feud effect, so she will disable all other support skills besides her target. Divine Youthful is a solid offensive weapon. It has attack speed field buffs with warping to get the most from Incited. Combat-wise, Brigid wants a lot of statuses to get up to 25 true damage, and her instant cooldown is supposed to combo with Creation Pulse for double back-to-back Draconic Auras. Feud is also a nice effect to have. Not a very common ability, although it's actually quite powerful. For her unique B skill, Brigid remembers. Every player or enemy phase, if near an ally, Brigid inflicts -7 speed and defense, panic, and sabotage on the closest foes and foes within 2 spaces. If initiating or near an ally, Brigid inflicts -5 speed and defense, she deals true damage equal to 20% speed, she gets the good old Miracle effect, and last, she heals 7 HP, which means Brigid can chain Miracle in back-to-back fights. I remember with Divine Youthful offers quite a lot of stat support. Like the new remix for Legendary Micaiah, Sabotage and Panic is a nasty combo because Panic field buffs will get doubled via Sabotage. A lot of speed advantages for Brigid's team, and 2 more statuses means 10 more true damage. This skill actually adds its own true damage source as well, and Miracle as always is quite a powerful ability. If you do not have the right tools or you can't double Brigid, she literally will not die. For the next two inheritable skills, I've talked about them a bunch in recent videos because they're quite good. Brigid's Attuned X skill is Tempo Echo, grants no extra special charge, grants no guard, reduces non-special percent DR effects by 50% in combat. Tempo Echo is literally just Tempo 4 without these stat debuffs. Having a 50% DR piercing skill not in the B slot is kinda wild, and you could combo it with say No Follow-Up 4 or Resonance to get 75% DR piercing. As for Tempo, no guard is always a powerful effect. Funnily, Brigid kinda doesn't really need it since she gets instant cooldown on both her attacks. Now for other units, you can use Defensive Tempo with Guard and Scowl to deny enemy special charging. No guard and instant cooldown is all the rage, but still a strong set of perks. As for using no guard, a unit will always get -1 cooldown on any action, and you can counter guard effects to get -2 cooldown when using blade or breath type cooldown skills. We do have Tempo Sacred Seals, but if you want that partial DR piercing, here's another fun option. Last up, we have Perfect Attack and Speed. This is a new tier 4 ideal A skill, so it's another easy to inherit one. Do note, even though armors can use ideal A skills, they cannot use Perfect Attack and Speed. For the effect, if above 25% HP or within 3 spaces of an ally, grant +7 attack and speed. If your unit outspeeds, you get the funnel follow-up effects. If you have high HP and you're near an ally at the same time, you get an extra +3 attack and speed in combat. Similar to the ideal A skills, you can get extra stats by meeting both conditions. The HP condition has come down from 100% to 25%, and instead of needing a bonus, you just need an ally within 3 spaces. The most important aspect of this skill is that no follow-up is now in the A slot. Like the status version, you need to win a speed check, but being able to have no follow-up and tempo in a build without a B, C, or Sacred Seal slot taken up is quite interesting. This is potentially a strong option for units with unique B skills like Brigid here. Overall, Perfect A skills look like a solid new skill line, at least for faster units. If we get other stat versions of this, we'll probably get a different effect than besides just no follow-up. Like her sister, Brigid is basically ready to roll out of the box. She gets a lot of damage and speed advantages and has warping to hop around. If her B skill, Panics and Sabotage status sticks, Brigid will get -2 instant cooldown via Creation Pulse. She immediately fires Draconic Aura, and that has 50% DI piercing thanks to Tempo Echo. This kit has 4 statuses for Brigid, meaning 20 true damage, and you get under 20% speed as true damage. If she does need to tank a counterattack, Brigid has Miracle, and if she outspeeds, she would double thanks to the follow-up. She then gets -2 instant cooldown again, so another Draconic Aura will proc. After combat, Brigid heals 7 HP. If the enemy doesn't outspeed, they don't have Brave hits, or they don't have some kind of anti-miracle effect, Brigid's just gonna loop Miracle over and over. The one catch is that she must be within 2 spaces of an ally during the enemy phase. That's kinda it. If you can do that, her entire kit is active, same goes for initiations. Now you may miss out on Perfect's extra +3 stats, but I think we can live without that. For alterations, you could run Times Pulse plus Curve Shot or just any 2 cooldown special. This is mostly to get double specials in situations where Creation Pulse wasn't active. You can also swap to the other 3 cooldown specials like Luna or Deadeye. For A skills, if you can get no follow-up from elsewhere, you may as well run Finish or Hexblade for more damage potential. If you want to have fun abusing Miracle, nothing's stopping Brigid from running Close Counter. In the C slot, if you don't care about cooldown, like maybe Edain can give -1 cooldown via Infantry Pulse, Brigid could then run Fatal Smoke herself or something like Pulse Smoke in case you're stalling with Miracle. For Sacred Seals, any attack and speed booster is fine, and it's another slot for no follow-up if you did want to swap off Perfect Attack and Speed. Now, unless you get some cheesy support, Brigid's not really going to be destroying any Shield Fighter tanks or even the Twin Saviors. She really would have liked her ancestor's potent follow-up attack, but Miracle's still a good effect. If you want to abuse Emblem Lyn, Brigid won't need a Miracle support. That could free up a team slot, and of course you can still run her with something like a Dual Strike or Triangle Attack support. Unfortunately, unless something drastically changes, if you don't have Brave hits or you don't have at least a potent follow-up, it's insanely hard to touch these modern tanks. That's going to wrap up the first New Heroes banner for 2025. I'm still considering spending what I have left on the recent holiday banners, plus we got the anniversary in a month too. Good luck to everyone spending orbs. If you want a new unit, Cullen is our first 2025 Grand Hero Battle unit. He's got some nice stats, but you're going to need to kit him out with some new skills and a new sword probably. We'll talk about Cullen more next time. Thank you for watching, good luck on those summons, and I will see you guys in the next video.